Welcome back to Hey Sister by Two Cute Sister. We're here. We talk about how we can empower and help each other as women over 40, over 50, women of a certain age. And so this is the second part of my series on finances. We talked about in the first one about some financial mistakes that I made that I regret now that I am a woman over 40. And so today we want to talk about some ways in which we as women over 40, over 50 can build wealth and build it quickly, because we know we want to make sure we have that money ready when we get ready to retire. And if you like me, you want to retire sooner rather than later. So the first thing I'm going to tell us to do is stop thinking small about money. Many of us think small about money because we don't know a lot about money. I admitted in my other video, and I said again, I was not taught to budget. Didn't know how to budget. I really didn't know what a budget was. I didn't know how to manage my money. No one showed me. No one taught me. But my parents could not give me what they didn't have themselves. And my mom definitely did not know how to use a budget. My school did not teach me about budgeting. And that is all beside the point, because now we have so much information out there. There's so much technology that there's no excuse for anyone. We got to stop thinking small about money. We got to stop thinking it's too late. We got to stop thinking I'm not going to ask for more. I'm going to be grateful for what I have. There's nothing wrong with some gratitude. I thank God for every dime I have. But I thank Him for multiplying. And we're going to talk about how we're going to multiply that money today. So we're going to talk about ways in which we can build our finances up. My second thing I'm going to tell you is you need to know where every dollar is going. And see, this was my mistake. I watch the commercial all the time. I know you've seen it too. About, do you know how many subscriptions you have? And I said, oh yeah, I have about 2 or 3, 4. And when the guy does this thing, it's this huge number of subscriptions that we're paying for every month, and we're not aware that we're paying. Well, we need to know where every dollar goes, because with me, I was the same way. I had some subscriptions I didn't realize I had. Some things I was paying for I didn't know I was paying for. Every little dollar, those little dollars add up. They're little $5 here, little $10 here. They begin to add up as you're doing your income, as you're doing your bills, as you're doing your finances, if you're trying to have a goal. And we need to set goals about our money. We need to make sure each dollar has an assignment. It shouldn't just be a dollar. That dollar should have an assignment. It has something to do. So we may discover that we're spending $200 on convenience. And let me tell you, every time you're swiping that card, the credit card, you're being charged. So unless you're paying that card off every month, it's not helping you. So if you can afford to pay the card off every month, and if you have a card that gives you cash back, great, use that card. But other than that, we need to use our credit cards wisely. We need to make sure we are not overspending, that we know where our money goes, that we don't have those little silent money leaks. The third thing I want to tell you, we have to find a way to increase our income. You know, people are always talking about paying down debt. We're going to get to that. But one of the first things we need to do is make sure that we can increase our income, increase the amount of money that we have coming in each month. We can do that by asking for a raise, starting a side hustle, selling some type of digital product, doing some consulting, doing some freelancing, doing tutoring. We can sell some stuff online, get on Etsy. We can, as I'm doing now, we can create content for YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. There are other places, apps that pay you for your content, that pay you to be you. Bless the Lord. So we need to find ways to increase our income. We have to get that, like I said, that second job. Maybe you have to get that second job just until you can get those bills or finances under control. I'm trying to think of the lady's name. I watch the channel. She's always doing that budget. She talks about bare bones budget and stuff. I can't remember her name right now. If I can remember, I'll link some of her videos in the description, and you can go watch her. She talks about cutting out all unnecessary things. But if you just can't cut out some of the fat, there are other things that you can do. 4, stop waiting for the perfect time to begin investing. I talked about it before. I'm going to say it again. I don't know as much as I need to know about investing, but I do know investing pays off. If we're going to increase our wealth, if we're going to leave that legacy, then we have to begin investing. We have to invest. We have to start that investing process. We get your kids to do it too. So we want to make sure we're investing our money. We're making our money work for us. We're not just leaving it sitting in the bank, because it's not doing us any good in the bank. We want to make sure we have it in a high yield. I think it's a high yield savings account. But anyway, we want to make sure that we do that. We want to eliminate high interest debts. So if we have Credit cards that are charging us high interest. Man, they are eating you alive. The best thing to do is figure out a way to pay those off, and I'm reading from my paper. Focus on paying off balances as quickly as possible while avoiding adding new debts whenever you can. Every dollar that isn't going towards interest can be working towards your future instead. So we need to make sure that we have those high interest credit cards, those high interest bills, that we're getting rid of them. We also want to build multiple streams of income. That means we want to think about creating different income sources. If you can have a rental, which is great, use rental income, sell digital products, teach online courses, do some freelancing, write a book if that's your gig. And now with Advent and Rise of AI, there is so many ways in which you can write a book or do whatever it is. You can share your skills online. We want to invest in new skills that are going to pay us back. We're going to learn how to use AI tools, digital marketing, do public speaking. You can do some bookkeeping, product managing, whatever it is, whatever your jam is, you can use that to make money. And we're going to talk about ways we want to make sure that we are protecting our money, protecting our finances. We want to build wealth by setting aside an emergency fund, which may take you a little while to do, especially if you're drowning in debt. You can't afford to start the emergency fund first, but you want to make sure that you're putting aside adequate money for insurance, that you are contributing towards your retirement fund. That way you can protect what you build. We want to avoid lifestyle inflation. It says a mistake that many people make is spending every raise they get instead of saying, if your income goes up, increase your investing, increase your savings, increase your financial freedom. Don't automatically increase your expenses. You know, and we've all done it. I know I have. You say, well, I can afford this now. I have blase. And so instead of saving that money, or instead of it working for you, you're allowing it to be eaten alive by some new bill that you came up with. And I talked about thinking about when you're that a job is assured or that a paycheck is assured, and living from paycheck to paycheck. Well, that paycheck is not assured anymore. Jobs can lay off. There are things that can happen. So you want to make sure you're protecting that extra income. The next one is surround yourself with financially healthy people. You want to get around people who are going to help encourage you to manage your spending, to manage your money. You know, the saying goes, you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And I told you in another video about how once we're over 40, our friend circle gets smaller. But we want to make sure that we are surrounded by the friends who are encouraging us, who are talking about investing, who are discussing business ideas, who are sharing saving strategies, who are encouraging growth and celebrating financial wins. I am frugal. I like to pinch penny, and I want to be around somebody else who wants to help pinch penny. So we want to have somebody who's going to help hold us accountable and get us to do the things in which we believe to do. Last but not least, I want to tell you that it's not too late to begin saving money, to begin building wealth. You look at those entrepreneurs who started late, like Colonel Sanders, who did Kentucky Fried Chicken. If you'll look at some of those other ones, Crocker, the one that did McDonald's, I can't remember his name right now. But anyway, they were not spring chickens. They were not young. They were not in their 20s. They were older, and they built these businesses. And you and me, we can too. Building wealth isn't about becoming a millionaire overnight, because if it was, I'd already be a millionaire. It's not about making hundreds. It's about making hundreds of small decisions that compound over time. So if you found this video helpful, please leave me a like and a comment below. Tell me what financial decision you're making right now to help build wealth as you are a woman over 40. And I'll see you guys in the next